I'm going to give you 6 steps for community building, which anyone and everyone can do, just bringing 2 or 3 people together, knowing that the spirit of breath will speak through you if you allow it, takes you off the hook of whatever your mind says that you need, but you don't have to be a group leader. So community has a life of its own. You simply have to get your mind out of the way to learn from it. All right, what makes a community? I believe there are 3 elements of community. So let's use this advanced supervision group as an example. Element number 1 is a common intention. So we have a conscious commitment in spirit to the highest growth for each member in learning and sharing together. That's a common intention that we have. Now, second element, creating community, is a common experience. So everyone agrees to share this time together on Thursday evening or Friday morning for some of us, either in person or via recording, and to do the exercises that will further our common experience of becoming breathwork practitioners or trainers. We have a shared time together during, but also interaction going even in between classes and sharing experience there. And the third element is a common practice. The breathwork paradox is we all say, oh, we're doing breathwork, but everyone's breathwork session is different from everyone else's. And yet we share the same, quote, spirit of breath. So we use the same tools of breathwork and affirmation, that is simply going for the highest thought instead of getting stuck in conflict or I can'ts. And just those 3 elements are earmarks of our having a community. So building your community, first of all, in building your own community, it takes clarity about who you are called to serve, ways to self-examine and explore. To whom do you feel drawn? And who shows up? I originally thought when I first was introduced to breathwork that my mission was to teach other people who had a common experience to me, and that is that they had become psychotherapists. And I saw, oh, the benefit of not just being a talking head, but incorporating the whole body. Why wouldn't everyone want to do this? Well, I still don't know why everyone would do it, but they didn't. I sent out flyers and explanations and to all the psychotherapists, but apparently they were in their own bailiwick, doing their own thing and quite happy, thank you. But I knew, no, I wanted to share this with others. So I kept putting it out, and who showed up? People with a common intention, people who are open systems, holistic oriented, of all different backgrounds. That level of consciousness was drawn together. And we created our own experiences and practices together and grew from the diversity that was there. And I've really come to love that about the transformations community. The people from all different professions, all different social strata. And we share conscious intention for unity in our world, taking down the barriers of divisiveness, finding out what is common that allows us to work together rather than just in competition. So in one of our classes, I talked about organic marketing. And this is getting your invitation to come and do breathwork with you or join your group breathwork or a class that you're teaching. How do you get your invitation out to those that you want to reach? Because believe it or not, they're waiting right now for you to help open the doors to their breath and their mind. So teaching breath alone will only go so far. It will take people to the experience of a higher state of consciousness, which is great. It's like blowing their consensus reality and opening the doors to different ways of being. But breathing together with others will incorporate expanded awareness into their lives. So it's not just, oh, I got to go over to Andy's house and have a high experience. It'll take people to experience higher states of consciousness on a regular basis. Breathing together will incorporate expanded awareness into their lives. It helps them live at higher levels of consciousness, not just have them occasionally. That is, more steady states. Community provides the three-dimensional model for a sustained new level of consciousness. So just staying in one's own silo of rugged individualism doesn't do it. Your magnetic energy and quality service is a baseline for attracting your clientele, which will become part of your community along with other peers and teachers. So in effect, it becomes a community in which everyone is a teacher and a student, even if you are in different roles as is appropriate. So I'm just going to hit a few high points here, which is a part of this multidimensional marketing I talked about in our last advanced practicum and apprenticeship in community building. Here are the 6 steps. Step number 1, admit that you have value to share. Wow, me? No, I haven't had the experience of, I'm just a simple farm boy and I don't, it's like, we got to get over the aw shucks thing. And your value isn't my value or Jane's value or so, it's your value, your unique way of bringing love to life. Okay, so I admit that I have value. Now you got to be willing to share this value with others. Ooh, yikes. I'm not a public speaker. Well, I found, for example, that I love sharing with smaller groups. I can do larger groups, but my favorite thing is, well, like what we have right here, smaller groups. Third is you have the courage to face your fears and doubts and to move forward. That's a big hump to get over for some people. I think for most, it was for me. No, I'm not a public speaker. No one's going to want to hear this stuff. Everyone knows it already anyhow. That's what we think because we know it, everyone knows it. They don't. They're waiting for you to tell them, help them. Step 4 is let your preparation to teach a class or to do group breath work, whatever it is that is your next stretch. Let that preparation be both pleasurable and work at the same time. Don't make it all work. Oh God, this is terrible. Or it's not all going to be tripping through the daisies and wonderful. And no, you might have to do some research. You might have to talk to some people. Now, it's all done. You've given it. Step 5, be willing to accept acknowledgement. Yeah, you can get constructive criticism. You can learn about ways to improve, all that, but be willing to accept acknowledgement. And step 6 is own the lessons that you are learning along the way. Something has been learned all along the way. First group that I sent out flyers to everyone and I just plastered them all over. The first group, I'm bringing this stuff out to life. No one showed up. I thought flyers were magic and flyers would just magnetize people to come in. Nope. So what was the lesson? You got to talk to people, Jim. You got to individualize it. You got to listen and make a connection. Sometimes that's psychic. You don't even know who you're connecting with. But right now, as you're listening to me, you're connecting with your community in the thoughts that you have about it. Your thoughts may be, wow, this sounds great. Yeah, I really love to share. Or, oh no, that's not for me. This guy is doing his thing, but that's not my thing. I can't do that. No. Well, all of those thoughts are magnetic. Right now, you're advertising, even as you're thinking about this. Then, of course, it has to be your way in ways that are going to be comfortable for you, but also ways that are going to stretch and empower you, ways that you're going to discover the you that you didn't know was in there. So now you have a community together, attracted people. And next step is learning to empower community members, diversifying leadership and community roles rather than, I got to do it all myself. That was my mantra for a long time. So now further advanced training and all this stuff is available. Jane and I are just going to be hitting the highlights here tonight, but hopefully this will spark some things like, what is my next step? You will learn how to, it's like, I got a group together. What if they start arguing with one another? What if they don't like each other? What if they, da on the mind? No, you will learn ways to deal with communications, to help people stay on course. All this stuff is available to you if you want it. And there's plenty of people here that are very interested in sharing this with you. That's why I said, that's why we got this mentoring program going.